Well, look who it is. Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. We're going to look at the DR1 and see what's been damaged in the little accident we had. And I'm going to start, I think, with a brief overview. I know a couple of things have broken. I haven't looked at anything up to now. So obviously the propeller's broken. Or did I take off like that? I'm not sure. So anyway, let's get serious here and have a look. First off, let's just take this prop off because it's bugging me. I've got to pop off the cowling, which has damaged itself. And also I think there was one of the mounting blocks is broken off. On the cowl there's a piece of carbon roving just in the front to protect it, and that's taken a bash there. That's quite easily fixed. I'll just run loads of CA in there. So let's see what's going on in here. First of all, any cracks or splits that I can see? No, this little box is my box of lead. There's only a little bit in there at the moment. I did have all this in there, which I've taken out. This corner took a bashing, but that's just balsa wood that I think what I'm going to do with that is to CA it all back together and then put a piece of light ply on the inside. One slightly disturbing thing that I discovered yesterday was the wing mounting. I'll explain this when I take it off. The wing retainer here, the peg that goes in, these are actually, as this is, like it's not steel, the bars, it's like fiberglass, and the end of that is split out, but I think I know how I'm going to repair that now, because that retains the wing. So I have to take off this wing. To take off this wing I need to loosen the nuts top and bottom, because this strut is glued in. So this centre wing will come off. Got some plastic bolt-on horns which I'm going to replace these with, and they'll sit bolted in just in case it was the horn that pulled out. And I'm also going to change these connectors because I don't like those. I need to take out these bolts at the bottom. So to make life easy, I bought in my miniature socket set, which has fallen over a few times and everything's out of order. I might take off all three wings here actually, because the skid on this side's broken under my hand. Now I won't be able to slide the top wing off because I have to disconnect the servo, which means I've just got to drop the plate off. So I can get this wing out, then we can have a look at the damage. So what I'm talking about is this. The wing just jerked enough to crack the end off. Now I've got the piece that came out of here. So what I thought was I would glue that piece back in, and my initial thought was to glue a piece of tubing in there, metal tubing, make it flush both sides. So I'm going to glue in this little piece first. I think it goes that way round. Setting off. Okay. Well, that will go in there with a small amount of filing. So that's the answer, guys. That's what I'm going to do. I've made a little brass ring, which I'm going to just CA in place. Put that in there, pushing it over to the left hand side. I just want to file that a little bit just to fill any little voids each side of the brass tube, or this side anyway, with material. Offer the wing up, see if it will go in. I'll just go in there. There's still a small element of play in there anyway, which is good. Yeah, that goes in lovely. We'll leave that one up there and take a look at the lower wing, and that looks okay. Put a peg on that. There's one. Look, here's a peg I prepared earlier. It'll probably break again, but what I could do within there is file in some carbon dust in. I'll give it a little spread. I know it doesn't look very pretty, but it's got to be strong. The black just accentuates the problem, but it won't matter because I can touch it in white, or if I fancy it I can sand and spray the whole cowl in white. The motor is offset, but I'm going to put a little bit more in, just be on the safe side, especially if I end up using a bigger prop. I've made a bit of plywood up. This is going to go right on the inside of the cheek to strengthen it all up. We'll let that set. I think it looks pretty good. Seems to be all tight down and in a nice place. So we'll let that set and come back to it shortly. I noticed one of these screws got pushed back there. I might have to put a bit of dowel in there and re-drill it. I'm going to find a Allen key and we'll have a go at the motor. See if I can't pull it off. Right. After a bit of fiddling, I've got a spanner down on the back of the nut, and I've just loosened all 4 bolts sufficiently, and I've got this one out now. What I'm going to try and do is to keep the nut in position, and washer, which has probably embedded itself into the plywood behind. I'm going to put the washer in behind there, and hopefully the nut in behind won't move. Oh, it's nearly lined up. I think that might be it. Okay, so the washer's in place. Now what I'm going to do is to hopefully pick up that nut. I just feel that bolt coming through the head of the nut. I know I've made it, and there it is. This washer is going to give me, it's going to be a 1 to 2 degrees right thrust, extra right thrust. If we can't get this washer in there, this time maybe gravity will help me. Put the bolt back in. Yeah, it's there. Okay, well that's good. Let's just see, push it back, how much closer it is to the hole in the cowl. Certainly more right than it was. I'm just having a look at this top strut mounting that's snapped off. I knew it was going to be a weak point. There's only 1/8 ply hanging down. What I'm doing, I'm just going to mix up some epoxy. I'm going to stick that back in there. That's all I can do. There's no way I can strengthen that up other than making a new end rib in metal, but it's got 3 fixings there and 2 at each end. I don't think it's going to be a problem. This will be glued, so let's just mix up some epoxy. Okay, it's not bad. I'm going to let that hang there, and I'm going to come back to it in a minute and make sure it hasn't moved and it's absolutely in the best position it can be. In the meanwhile, I could have a look at that aileron on this side. So I'm going to change the horns. Thinking ahead, I didn't use the stainless steel push rods they gave me. I used my own steel ones with the intention of soldering on adjustable links on the end in the fullness of time, which is quicker than I thought. So they will solder nicely. Hello. Hello guys. Making good progress here. I've bolted on a pair of horns and got rid of these awful connectors that supplied in the kit. I wasn't very happy with those gripping the push rod, but they seem to have maintained, but I certainly wasn't happy with gluing in the horns. So I've got bolted on horns now, like I put on the tailplane, soldered on an adjustable connector. So I've glued on the snapped lug and built up a fillet of epoxy on the inside, and I've painted it so that can now be screwed back up as well. Okay, strut fixed, ailerons fixed. As you can see, I've got the model hanging upside down. It just makes everything so much easier to work on. I can move it about, bring it up and down, and job's a good one. I'm fitting the cowl back on. I've made a design change with the motor. Instead of it being fixed, glued on, I'm going to fit it with Velcro, and it's going to stick okay. But I'm just going to make sure I can get the motor out if necessary. Look at that, you saw how easy it went in. There we go. So I'm going to put Velcro on it. I've had to shave down the fins on the ends a little bit just to get the angle, but you don't see that, so no problem. This is about the last job. I want to get the model back on its wheels and check the wing incidences, but apart from that, and make any small adjustments if necessary. Tell you one thing I have done. I've put a rudder mix on the ailerons and rudder. Everyone thought it was a good idea. I thought it was a good idea. Sorry I've forgotten your name. Commented it's possibly not a very good idea. Certainly not initially. So I put it on a switch. So flick of a switch. I'll take off without it. Use rudder. But flick of a switch, I can couple rudder back in. The joys of modern radios, eh? Fantastic. Right, that's the cowl on. Am I happy with that? It looks like it's just a little bit tighter than it was on that corner now. Don't know why that should be. Doesn't matter. A gooder fit, a better fit is good. But motor's clear. Now I've got the cowl on, it's actually, you can see there's quite a bit of right thrust. Hopefully it's not too much. Can you have too much right thrust? I don't know. So anyway, I've got to re-drill this hole here. So let's just do that now.
Oh yes, we are back for another Dad's RC Hanger. Yes, that Friday is upon us again. And
that Friday feeling, Dad's RC Hanger.
Okay. Why am I not flying? I don't know, I should be. But instead, yes, I've got an unboxing. What are you saying? You've got another plane, Chris? There's no room in the hangar. You're absolutely right. Even he says there's no room in the hangar. Oh yes, everybody, you have absolutely no space. See what I mean? Anyway, we have got the Beamer. We won't go into what it was, what Air Force Australia. I think this is the Australian Air Force. I think it was their acrobatic team first of all before they changed. That's right. Anyway, there you go. Now here's the thing's about 1.5 meters spring span, so she's about the same as the Boomerang as well. Look at that lovely covering. Really is. Just needs heating up with the gun to get it all tight again, which we can do. Lovely pin hinges, absolutely lovely. They really look nice. Really stiff as well. Wow. A mid-ton-and-a-half wingspan, so.
Not the same as this one, ain't Chris? Okay, cowling's back on and repaired. You can see the white repair, but who's going to tell anyone? Bit of chocolate. I've got a bit of Velcro here, but I want to maximise the area, so I'm going to cut a bigger piece.
So it's a standard undercarriage with a spring, you know.
So let's give it a go then. It stays on there. Great. As with all Velcro, you've got to give it a sort of a little shake and then push it and twist it. I don't want it coming off flying. No, that's good. I mean, obviously there's a small degree of movement there, but it doesn't move. Well, I'll tell you what, we're getting very close. The rudder, by the way, one of my loops on the closed loop slipped, although I come back through the horn, through the brass tube and back around into it, still slipped. So I've adjusted that. So that's actually, while I got it upside down, let's pop the lid back on. That's good to go now. Now I've got the tricky operation of, I'll leave the prop off for a minute. I've got the tricky operation of lowering it to the floor, turning it upside down and getting it back onto its feet. So welcome back, Fokker Triplane. Check all the incidences and come back to you when that's done. Right then guys, I've been rolling around on the floor for the last hour, getting all the incidences the same. Well, the torque wing slightly minus, which is what I had before, so I'm going to call that done. There's nothing more to do but get her back up the field and give her another go. So thanks very much for watching. If you want to follow along for the maiden flight, hit the subscribe button and notification button, and you'll be informed of when I do maiden flight it. Right, pull her up, 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 and up to there. There we are. So what have I done? So I've repaired that part of the cowl. I've put the motor on Velcro. I've repaired this corner, which took a bash. That corner took a bash. One of the struts, wingtip skids rather, was broken. And that's about it really. Apart from that, she's, you know, bounced amazingly. So, I've increased the thrust angle of the motor, as you can see, right thrust. Fixed the rudder, which the closed loop had come adrift a little bit. Changed the aileron horns. And put in soldered connections because I've bolted the horns on just in case they decide they're going to pull out. Good to go. So there we are. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for watching. Hit the little like button and I'll see you up the field, hopefully for a really good maiden. And I've got it in my mind exactly what I'm going to do. So one thing I am going to do actually, one more thing. The prop I had on it was a 14.8 plastic, 14.7 plastic, which got broken. I've got a 14.8 wood on there, which I didn't, got 14.8 wood on there, which I didn't fly with because I didn't want to break it. And I've bought two more props to try. I'll put them on the watt meter and see what results I get. I've got a 15.6 and a 16.6. I'll see what sort of amps we're pulling on that and work out the wattage. As you can see, the 14-inch clears the cowl. It's 2.5 inches either side, but obviously a 16-inch is going to be 3.5 inches either side, so it's going to be more torque, but I've got more motor offset, so hopefully that won't be an issue. So there we go. Hit the little subscribe button and I'll see you in the next video, which might be the maiden flight of the new Leonardo Flyer, or the R1. Woohoo!